If you were to search Bruce Arena on Twitter at the moment, there are some interesting comments regarding comments that he made earlier today after England's victory over Panama. These were those comments. The things that happened today with Panama were typical of CONCACAF competition, but they're never punished for it. In my view, the officiating hurts the progress of the region. You'd have to be hit over the head with a sledgehammer for them to give a penalty kick in CONCACAF. I feel strongly that we should have been the third team, but we have no one to blame but ourselves and the officials and the sledgehammers.
Look, the truth of the matter is, without question, US should be there. And he's absolutely right. They only had themselves to blame. When you consider that Panama finished third, Honduras finished fourth in CONCACAF World Cup qualifying, and the US beat Panama 4-0 at home, beat Honduras 6-0 at home, the reason they're not there is because they go to everywhere else and expect them to turn over, expect them to lie down and think that the result somehow magically appears. The one thing I will say about CONCACAF is yes, nobody's doing that. You've got to earn your result. 4 years ago, you beat Costa Rica at home with a game that should have been called off because of the weather, but yet nobody complains about that, yet somehow you find some kind of mystery to justify why you aren't there this time around. Listen, you're not there because you didn't deserve to be there. You're not there because you lose away to a second-string Trinidad and Tobago. Stop making excuses. Stop pointing fingers. Somebody please accept responsibility. Until somebody does, unfortunately, the US men's national team cannot get out from under that embarrassment.
Shaka Hislop, ladies and gentlemen. Well said, mate. Maris?
Look, but before the advent of VAR coming into the game, you knew when you were going away, whether it was your club team or your international team, if you're away from home, you knew you were not going to get the calls. So you had to be good enough. You had to, possess the ball. You had to work your way through the game. You knew there was going to be an advantage given to the home side. So I don't know what Bruce is talking about. I just let sleeping dogs lie. Look, just get over it, get on to the next cycle, and get them progressing to the World Cup next time.
At the end of the day, you can't blame referees. You blame coaches. Who was coaching these players? You know, if I'm coaching a team, I go through set pieces and I show them how I want them to defend. And it certainly doesn't involve wrestling with the opposition. So, you know what? I'm not so sure it's referees you blame. It's coaches. That is the problem in CONCACAF. Clearly, the teams in CONCACAF aren't good enough. You've got one team in Mexico who have actually surprised us how good they've been.
Yep.
That means that it's the players and it means it's the coaches are not coaching the players properly. So, you can't blame the referees. A lot of it is coaches and half of it is players.
Here's the thing that continues to infuriate me about this lack of accepting of responsibility. This is the same Bruce Arena making these ridiculous statements that sat in the pre-game press conference in Trinidad and Tobago and said, I would like to see one of these European teams come here to CONCACAF and qualify.
Yeah.
Now you turn that around to say, after one of the CONCACAF teams who did qualify concedes 6 against one of those said European teams, now it's on the referees. No, you can't have it both ways. You do not have some kind of divine right to be at a World Cup or to even get out of CONCACAF, whatever it may be. Stop playing everybody else for fools. Please stop.
Thank you very much, Shaka. Cheers, Stevie and Paul. Of course, for a lot more on this, keep it here on the website. And ESPN FC is with you every day, of course, reflecting on the World Cup exclusively on ESPN+.